Hi there, I'm Obi-Juan. With this video, I'm going to start a series showing the process that I use to make my demos. I've made hundreds of demos over the past 10 years, and I'm very happy to show you some of the things that I've learned along the way. This first video would be on project setup. We're going to be using Studio One for this demonstration, but all of these concepts can be applied to any DAW. We're also going to be using free plugins throughout the whole series. That way it's easy to follow. I will also mention the paid alternative that I use along the way when appropriate. We're going to be making a simple demo in this series. It will consist of 1 stereo rhythm guitars, so 2 mono tracks, pan left and right. We're going to be doing 1 stereo lead guitars, 1 guitar solo track, 1 stereo drums, 1 bass track. We're also going to be setting up some effects buses for reverb, delay. This should get us a good starting point, and we'll expand if we need to. For drums, we're going to be using ML drums. They have a free library, so make sure you download that. I put the links in the description. I have the paid version, but the process of setting it up is the same. You just go to Instruments on the right side panel, the Browse panel. Go to ML Drums and just drag it to your first track. Give it a second. Here it is. Just want to take a second to go to Song and Song Setup. And I usually work on 48,000 sample rate. So I just want to make sure that I'm on that. The next thing I like to do is go to MIDI and change the MIDI preset to my GGD. You may not have this one since I created this one, but it's basically the GGD mapping that I use. I like ML Drums. I just got it recently, but it's pretty cool because it has a built-in mixer, so you can tweak all your drums and cymbals, EQ, compressor, all those things. Without having to set them up in your DAW. So it's very simple, very fast to work with. I like those when making demos. The next thing I like to do is set up the drum map in Studio One. To do that, we close this. I create an empty MIDI clip. Double click on it. And then I have a template for GGD. And what it does, it labels the MIDI node with the name of the drum. That way I can program easier. I highly suggest you make one for all your drums. You're just trying to make sure that, kick, it's kick here, matches kick in the plugin. And you do that for all of them and then save it as a preset. That way you can makes it a lot easier to program when you have these here. So that's it for drum setup. Okay, after that's done, we'll just come here, label the drums properly. I usually like to use blue. It's kind of blue for drums. And at this point, we're done with drums. We got one stereo drum track. And the cool thing, like I mentioned, the cool thing about this one is that you can go to mixer. And if you need to adjust your individual instruments, you can do that in here. It frees up space on your DAW. For bass, we're going to be using IK Multimedia Modo bass. They have a free version you can download. Normally, I use Eurobass 3, Punk Bass, Unmasky Bass, and more recently, the Nolly Bass Library. Those are all paid options. I also have a real bass, so I'm gonna set up a track just in case I decide to play that one for the track. So we had a mono audio track. Let real bass DI. And we'll leave that one there. So we gotta call this one bass VST. They're both DIs. Okay. So that takes care of the bass setup. Now let's set up the guitars. Remember, we're going to set up one pair of rhythm guitars, stereo, one pair of lead guitars, stereo, possibly, and one guitar solo track. Let's add the tracks by right-clicking here. Add tracks. And I got guitar tracks. We're gonna add 5 guitars. Make them this green color. Mono tracks. Input 1. Make them go out of the main output. Here we go. The first one is going to be a rhythm guitar left. Second one is rhythm guitar right. Third one's going to be lead 1. Could be left or right. Lead 2. And the last one is going to be guitar solo. What I like to do is treat my guitars as one stereo guitar. So I would take the left and the right, highlight them, right click on it, go to add bus for selected channels. It will create this bus for those 2 tracks. I like to put it on the top and label it rhythm guitar bus. So I will do all of my processing for those guitars in this bus channel. We can color this one. Let's just color this one green as well. These 3 go together. We're going to do the same thing for the lead. We're going to select both, right click, add bus for selected channels. And we're going to call it lead bus. I like to color these something different, maybe yellow. And then we have the guitar solo by itself. We're going to make 2 effects tracks. I'm gonna call one verb for reverb and one delay for delay. Most DAWs come with a built-in delay and reverb plugins, so those are good free options. For this video, we're going to use Mix Verb for reverb, and then we're gonna use Valhalla Supermassive for delay. On these effect tracks, return tracks, you want to set the mix to 100%. And lock it. We'll tweak these depending on what the demo calls for, if we even use them. At this point, I also like to set up a volume plugin in my master chain. And I use this to control the overall level of the mix going into my first master plugin. For now, we're gonna load it and not use it. For guitars, we're going to use NAM. So we go to the first guitar, guitar left, neural and modular. There it is. And then we select the remaining tracks and just drag it there. And we have it in all of our tracks. We're going to be using full rig models, so no need to load up an IR and no need to load up an IR loader. Just in case we don't use the full rig model, I'm going to set up NAT IR, which is an IR loader, and I'm going to set it to dual mono. Turn it off for now. I like to put those on the bus, that way you only load it up once. Gonna move it to the lead bus, and just in case on the guitar solo, so one up there. You can actually just disable these so they don't take any DSP, and leave them there just in case we use them. I know for guitars, I'm gonna be using an EQ, so let's load up Presonus Q1. I'm going to copy that to my lead bus and to my guitar solo. Again, I'm just setting these up here so that when I do need them, they're already there. A lot of times I end up using a multi-band compressor on my rhythm guitars to control the low mids. So I'm going to load up multi-band dynamics from Presonus. It's the built-in one. You also have, if another option is ReaPlugs X-Comp, this one. And then the one I usually use is the FabFilter multiband Pro MB. But we're gonna roll with this one, it's pretty good too. Depending on the track that we're making, we may use a overdrive or not. So let's set that up and have it ready just in case we use one. So for this one, we're gonna use TSC, the 808 clone from Mercurial. Put it before the amp. We're going to copy that to the rest of the tracks, just in case we use an overdrive. And we're gonna go ahead and turn it off for now on all tracks. We're also going to turn off the multiband for now. We're actually going to disable it. It helps with latency when you're tracking, but we'll have it there ready to check things later. At this point, this template is ready for me to start tracking. It has all the elements that I need to get something going, get some ideas down, and then usually it expands from here. But this is a good starting point. I will make this template available for download in the description. At least it will be good for you to copy the MIDI mapping here, and then also you can copy the MIDI mapping here. In the next video, we're going to start putting down some ideas and start building this demo inside this template. So make sure you subscribe if you want to keep up with this series and see where we go from here. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.